All right, today we're doing something a little different. We're going to crack open a professional consulting analysis to really dig into the augmented reality company XREAL, especially since they're getting ready for their IPO. So, let's break down what the HDIN Research report has to say.
So right off the bat, the analysis frames the whole conversation with this massive question. And you can see this isn't just about some new cool gadget. The real question is whether XREAL could be at the very center of a massive change in how all of us interact with computers and the digital world.
And this quote right here, this is the core thesis of the entire report. The whole argument is that if you're just looking at XREAL as a company that makes glasses, you're totally missing the bigger picture. The real story, according to this analysis, is their grand ambition to build the next major computing platform.
Okay, so to really get a handle on XREAL's potential, we first have to zoom out and look at the market they're in. What kind of wave are they trying to ride? Because in tech, timing is everything, and it looks like AR is about to have a major moment.
And when you look at the numbers, they are absolutely staggering. The big takeaway here is this projected 130.9% compound annual growth rate. That's between 2026 and 2030. I mean, that's not just growth. The report literally calls it a market explosion.
Now, you hear this term spatial computing thrown around a lot, right? But this isn't just another buzzword. The analysis is super clear on this. We're talking about a fundamental move away from the flat, 2D screens we're all used to on our phones and laptops and into a 3D world where digital information is just part of the room you're in.
So that's the grand vision. But how does XREAL actually plan to make money in this brand new world? If the glasses are just the beginning, where does the real value come from? Let's take a look at their business model.
The report lays out this really clear three-stage plan. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like a video game console. First, you sell the hardware, the box. But the real long-term money, that comes from the games, the online services, the subscriptions. The hardware is just the gateway to get you into their world.
And you can really see this big ambition in how they're planning to sell these things. I mean, look at how the share of sales through distributors is projected to jump. That's a huge strategic shift. They're moving from selling directly to tech enthusiasts to partnering with major companies to get these glasses in front of everybody.
And get this, that second stage of their plan, it's not just some idea for the future. It's already happening. The report points out how their partnership with Google is expected to fuel a massive 576% jump in high-margin service revenue. So that transition away from just selling hardware is already well underway.
Okay, so the vision's there, the business model seems solid, but let's pop the hood for a second. How is XREAL actually building the machine to pull all this off? This part of the report gets into the nitty-gritty of their operations and R&D.
The report calls this their dumbbell manufacturing strategy, and it's actually pretty brilliant. They keep the most valuable, most secret part, the optical engine that actually creates the display, completely in-house. They control every piece of it. But the final assembly, they outsource that to the experts. It's a really smart way to protect their secret sauce while keeping costs down.
And this number really gives you a sense of their R&D muscle. 481 patents. And it's not just a pile of paperwork. The report emphasizes that over half of these are core invention patents. We're talking about a real technological moat they're building around their key technology.
And this chart right here, this is a really healthy sign. It's what analysts call operating leverage. It basically means that as sales grow, their R&D spending becomes a smaller and smaller piece of the pie. They're getting more efficient as they scale up, which is exactly what you want to see.
Okay, but let's be real. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. Any credible analysis has to look at the downsides, and this report definitely pulls no punches when it comes to the huge challenges XREAL is facing. I mean, they're stepping into an arena with some absolute giants.
So, the analysis boils the risks down to three big ones. First, they are deeply tied to Google's own progress with its mixed reality operating system. Second, there's the complicated geopolitics of a China-based company partnering so closely with a US tech titan. And third, of course, you've got the 800-pound gorillas in the room, Apple and Meta.
And this is where that David versus Goliath challenge really hits home. It's not just about money. Companies like Apple and Meta have these massive, pre-existing ecosystems of apps and users. XREAL, with its own Nebula OS, is essentially building its entire digital world from scratch.
So, after all that, the potential, the plan, the risks, what does the future actually look like? Well, this final section of the report lays out the key things to watch for that could really determine if XREAL's vision becomes a reality. And it really all seems to come down to the year 2026, which the report calls the inflection point. And look at their roadmap. It's like a three-pronged attack. They're going after gamers, they're going after the mass market with an affordable model, and they're going for the high end with their flagship device co-developed with Google. It's a huge year for them.
Now, the analysis doesn't give any trading advice, of course, but it leaves us with this final, really powerful question. Is XREAL on the verge of becoming the essential way we see our AI-powered future? Or will they just be a small footnote in a story that's ultimately written by today's tech giants? What happens in 2026 is probably going to give us the answer.